Hello and welcome back. This is Grillenheimer. Um, had an interesting little game that got really fun for one person to play. Too much fun than one person's allowed to have, I guess. Um, we had crap. Where'd my fourth character go? Let's see. Oh, he's right in front of me. We had Private Greenlight, Raider Stormcloud, Raider Tailwind, and Private Turbo Board. Now, I don't know if anyone has done this before. I think I've heard a few months ago somebody doing something similar, mixing Greenlight with the Airstrike Patrol. I can't remember. But I was really wanting to make a pretty prominent green deck. And I did, and I made it with 50 cards. I came up with a deck of 50 cards with as much green as I could. I just went nuts. And I've been playing a few games, and I think they've been beating the pants off another team of all things. Um, and it was against these Deceptibozos, Air Commander Starscream, Raider Blowpipe, and Sergeant Skywarp. Um, Two wave 3 characters and a wave 1 character. Over here we have um, a wave 4 character, and I think 3 wave 3 characters because of Private Turbo Board. No, he's wave 4. That's right. 4, 4, and 3 and 3. That's right. And things really worked out this game because I thought, they didn't have a lot of draw power the last time I played them, and I've been sort of swapping out some of my characters a little bit, and these really work out the best, especially with all this green. And once I was realized to get, you always want a card to turn. You need a transformer to transform. Otherwise, it might as well be called Civil War if our characters aren't flipping. So I got my kinetic converter, got it on Stormcloud to where each time I flip, I draw a card. Well, I got Pocket Processor and put it on Greenlight. Being a specialist, I normally like Field Communicator or something else along those lines. But I had Pocket Processor, and I'm like, let me put that on her. So in doing that, I got to flip like 3 cards every turn, thanks to these 2 cards right here, and flipping Stormcloud and having such a green deck. Stormcloud is great because you get the bold, and bold is wonderful. And since I use a mixture of colors of, and I will show off the deck here in a second, of blue, uh, orange, green, of course. Of course, these are two prominent white cards right here. Green only, green only, green only. Back up a little bit. So even green cards help the Airstrike Patrol. Of course, I only have 2 of them here, but then being able to flip a orange and a blue, if I've been saying red, orange and a blue with him as a utility on Tailwind, or whoever. I mean, I could have swapped this out for the Pocket Processor on Greenlight, and I didn't want to. Now, once I realized that Tailwind and Greenlight at that part of the game when this finally got KO to be able to go on somebody, I'm thinking, well, I want to keep Pocket Processor on Greenlight. Let me put this on Tailwind. They have the same amount of health in that part of the game, so one was not really stronger than the other per se, even though she has attack of 4. So, and they both had on Soldier's Blaster, which is like +3 when there was my one mistake. Okay, but it was okay because it was a blunder, but it still would have knocked out Skywarp. Because instead of its attack of 10 that I had, it would have been attack of 8. And Skywarp didn't have that much health left. If I remember, like maybe 6 health. And I don't, yeah, he still had like a defense of 2, but I didn't flip any blue on him. So yeah, it still would have been game over. And it was like 3-on-1. It became these 3 versus Skywarp, for the most part, which I found really odd. I thought the Decepticons, that group over there, would have been a little better, but when you're trying to play 1 solo, 2 smartly, it takes a while for your battle masters or weaponizers to get knocked out because you don't want them in play with the other team. So while these 2 guys are untapped in stealth, you're either having to go attack him or Greenlight. Well, if I'm playing this team, I don't want Greenlight is sort of my prized character for this team, so I don't want her hit. I'm going to try to, attack first. So this will have to defend first, even though it has a health of 12 for, and this was the one I was trying to remember in the car, turbo board, to get knocked out. It takes him a while to get knocked out. And while you're flipping this, he can get, he doesn't have stealth untapped in this mode. So he did get down to 1 health at one point, before the end of the game, but he did not get knocked out, which I couldn't believe. I thought he was going to get knocked out, but he wasn't. So this was a very, very interesting game, being able to, and I got to use, once I finally use these 2 cards for some draw power, because other than that, I really have no pep talks or anything like that in here to be able to have enough cards and green cards in my hand and swapping with certain cards that I either wanted to use or not want to use from flip battle cards, to be able to get at least the bold 3. Now, I do have a lot of triplicates in here, so of the same name, but I never really got that set up to get bold 6. Now, by the time Tailwind with anti-gravity turbo board as a utility, was able to get an orange and a blue, it was the last attack in the game. So that really almost got to happen, but didn't. But this is how it ended up near the end of the game. And this is a kind of really neat setup for this. These guys do total 24. I do have a 1-star card in the deck, but I saw it, but I never got to really play it or use it or get it in my hand. Okay, here's the deck of 50 cards. It is big. And this is also the Afghan my late mother-in-law made for me as well. So now let's get into this just a little bit, and let's start over here at the... Whoa. I think I did that wrong. Anyway, deck of 50 cards, starting at the weapons. Okay, mounted missiles is my 1-star card. I have Power Sword. I don't know why. I need to swap it out for another attack drone. Might be a good thing to do. So it'll give me another white, another green card. We got the 3 enforcement batons, which is good for scrapping armors. 2 soldier blasters for giving +2 when they're fighting someone in another faction. Dismantling claw for scrapping it in any enemy weapon when it's scrapped from the character. I have 1 backup beam for bold. Yeah, I think maybe the initial characters I had, I think one of them was melee, and I'm not using that character anymore. I forgot who it was. 2 sparring gears for the orange and for the green. The tough 2 isn't bad either. I normally don't put them on the characters as an armor, but I could. I almost used reflex circuits tonight because you can put it on ranged characters only, and the Airstrike Patrol are ranged characters. But it was not defending against any melee enemies. But it still gives you +1, which isn't bad. Um, so most of these upgrades are weapons and utilities. There's not a lot of upgrades. We got the 3 extra paddings. Yeah, I have a multi-mission gear because I'm playing by myself. So what? Adaptive plating, which I have gotten to use once. 3 bashing shields and 1 reflective armor. And then if we go over here to the utility side, we got two pocket processors, which I got to use tonight, 2 field communicators, which I also used, data pad, 2 kinetic converters, which, and the key to that, especially when you're using specialists, are your utility cards, are your white cards. I thought I had 2 minor medic kits in here. I could have sworn I had 2. It's just the 1. And it's good for just bumping up a little bit of health for Greenlight, or even one of the smaller characters, such as it is. It's not going to help that much, but it will help. But it's really best for the extra Pierce, which Pierce really never came into play tonight. The other team, Starscream's team, did have the secret action that negated Pierce. I think it gives them like +1 to shield and takes Pierce away from your enemy. I forgot what the name of it is. Let's see here. And I actually was able to use Decipher tonight because I have 4 secret actions over here, 6 on the other side. I thought I made a video about that. Maybe not. And I have 1 toolbox, which I've really never gotten to use. Just there for the green. Reprocess for the green mainly. I've used Scrounge a few times, actually. Overwhelming advantage, really only for the orange and the green. Focus fires have come in handy a little bit, mainly for the green, orange and green for the most part. Though they're good for extra bold. Actually pulled repurpose tonight. I think this is what I was able to use. Let's see, what did I play? Yeah, it was a field communicator, where you put it on a specialist, scrap the top of your card, you may play it, and it wasn't overwhelming advantage. What was it? Oh, it was repurpose. That's right. And so I went ahead and scrapped a card out of my hand, got 2 more cards in hand. I actually used wedge formation tonight. Yeah, there's no melee in here, but I'm able to used it to be able to draw another card and plan 1, plus it has your orange, black, and green, another green. But yeah, this group only has 4 secret actions. So, yeah, there's just a lot of possibilities here. Which, yeah, it waters down your percentage for 50 cards instead of 40. But because I would imagine if you're playing against a human character or another person, which I never get to do, that playing something bigger than a tighter group of 40 cards, that if you're playing with them for a couple of games in a row and you actually play 3 games in a row, they get to know your card deck pretty well. But if it's more than that, and it's more like 50, say 45 or even 50, it might be harder for them to keep up with everything you have, especially when you have 50 cards. How I made the other deck, I filled it out with like 6 or 8. There's 8 secret actions in the Decepticon deck. I was using them left and right tonight. Skywarp really got some play out of that too. There was a lot of good going on both teams, but this team really had it tonight. I only got to play 1 game. But I've played this setup again the other night too. It's been a minute. Um, but I mean, overall, this is a neat setup. It's very fun. I don't know how competitive it would be. Like I said, I think the one time that I messed up is that I had the Soldier's Blaster on Raider Tailwind, and he was going up another Decepticon. I may have accidentally given him uh, 2 extra to attack when he shouldn't have, and I was like, oops. So, something to watch out for. But other than that, um, I think I played pretty well, pretty fair, uh, pretty even, and it was just a lot of fun. This really was. So something to think about. Um, and then there's always the question, if I'm playing 50 cards and they only have 40, is that fair? Or if I'm playing 40 and they have 50, is that fair? So I don't know. I mean, the less cards you have, the higher the percentage it is to get, say, an enforcement baton or a bashing shield or whatever. But you take 10 of these cards away, you're going to be like, you know, are you really going to get what you want when you need it? When you have some draw power going on and you're doing bold 3 or bold 6 with Stormcloud for another character, um, and then trying to get greens for Greenlight as well. And I did get her ability to pull off tonight as well. I never use Safeguard 3 because I never play her first. I always play her last, so she hardly ever gets attacked. Well, she did, but it was like non-attack damage from the Decepticons. But this was a really neat setup. Of course, if Stormcloud gets knocked out first, then Tailwind gets a little buff from that. Of course, when Tailwind is in play, both of these guys get help with the greens as well. Yeah, I could have made this a little neater. I'm sorry. But, these are all the green cards in this 50 card deck. And there's 33 in total. 34 if I swap out that, oh gosh, where'd it go? For this power sword, say for another attack drone, uh, that would help. So, if I swap that out for another one of those, or maybe another dismantling claw or another soldier's blaster, that would give me more triplicates of green. And then being able to do this with this much green and having the possibility of this much draw power with specialists or utilities, and having some secret actions in play, my 1-star card, which is mounted missiles, and some of this other stuff thrown in to boot, you know, and I got to use a lot of this tonight, and went through the deck at least twice. So there it is. This is it was just a really fun deck to play with, and characters to boot. So hey, we got plenty of weapons, just a very few armors, but a nice chunk of utilities, secret actions, some actions, and a whole lot of green. So, and so far, it has not let me down. It has been very fun. That's all I got for tonight. So, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Have a blessed night. And remember, flip out and let's roll.